Alright folks, let's deep dive into what the hell is a CS-52C version. It is practically a CS-63 turret from tier 10 mounting onto a CS-53 at tier 8. So I was wrong, I thought it was the LIS, the 52 LIS version of the hull, but there's a few differences. Mainly the driver hatch is at the left hand side or the port side, whereas the actual LIS, it's in the middle. So there's a slight difference in terms of the hull design, but not that much. It's still 80 at the front, so practically the same armor, but yeah, the driver hatch is in the middle for the LIS, whereas the actual 53 has it at the sides. Yeah, so it is actually this hull. This hull is a little bit shallower, so less prone for side damage or side shots, I guess. Smaller profile, but not that much. And from the tier 10's turret, right here, I have the skin on, but it's close enough. So yeah, it's a blast from the past. It has already been Powercrept in today's meta. So let's take a look. Premium tier 8 Polish medium tank, makes more credits, XP for the crew, and the whole vehicle, yada yada, free XP, all the good stuff. I'm meant to replace the T-34-85s, but mounting the CS-52's turret, blah 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 blah. Better use the T-55s or 54s, obviously. 100mm gun, standard, but penetration is yesteryears, about 5 years ago or 7, so pretty crap nowadays. Crew of 4 fits all the Polish medium tanks. And let's take a look at the firepower of this vehicle. So yeah, it's alright of a medium tank, but brings you back to the yesteryears of the Panzer 58 𝘖𝘳𝘪𝘨𝘪𝘯𝘖 or the Patton KRs. So underperforming tier 8 premiums, but not surprising. So penetration, AP shell, 190. Yeah, that is below average nowadays, especially for medium tanks. So usually it's about 220, 210 or so, kind of bad. Alpha is about the same ballpark, so nothing to complain. Fast turret traverse, so that's good. Gun depression of 7 degrees, elevation 17. It should be the same for the 52 LIS version as well. Aim time is kinda bad, but still workable. But it's only a 100mm. Why does it take 2.6 seconds of aim time? That is kind of hefty. But in turbo mode, you have 3.36. So yeah, okay. I mean, you could turbo, but usually you don't want to when you're shooting. Accuracy 0.37. Average, below average a little bit, but still, okay, fine. And 1850 DPM. Yeah, that is bad. So it is yesteryears stats for a gun. Nothing special. Really nothing special. The only thing I can figure from the actual gun usage is they want you to spam the gold shell. Standard pen is 190. Fine. I mean, that is outclassed in many aspects, but it has a high explosive anti-tank that has 100 more millimeters of pen. 290 for high explosive anti-tank. Now shell velocity is slower at 750 meters per second, whereas the AP shell is at 1100. So it is slower to lead the shot. You have to be more accurate, but it has 100 more millimeters of pen. What the hell? It's a gold sink of a tank also. What? Oh, God. I hate vehicle design like this. It just wants you to spam gold shell. Oh God. High explosive is high explosive, whatever. But shell velocity is still high explosive, so it's slow. It's actually faster for the high explosive than the high explosive anti-tank. Alright, fine. But yeah, it is a gold sink. They want you to spam the gold shell. I mean, usually you would think about 250 millimeters of pen for a tier 8 premium medium tanks, which is about average, so decent enough, but not super overpowered, like close to 300, but oh God. Okay, let's take a look at the dispersion factors. So it is actually more accurate shooting while moving the hull than moving the turret. That's surprising. All right. 100mm gun, shell velocity, yada yada. Carries 60 rounds, so that's okay. Credit cost about the same for the alpha, so nothing to see there. Gun depression is crap at the back end because of the engine deck, so shoot at the front. You have 7 degrees, which is not half bad, but okay. So compare this to the actual CS-52C version. What the hell is CS-52 LIS? The Fox. Oh yeah. Penetration not as good, alpha not as good, DPM not as good, accuracy not as good, aim time not as good, turret traverse dispersion is also not as good, hull traverse is a little bit better, smaller caliber of a gun, carries more ammo, better potential damage, but what? It costs more for less alpha. What? That's not fair. It costs more for less alpha. Oh god. Alright. Also has worse terrain resistance on paper. So it should be the same, but somehow the Fox has better terrain resistance hidden. So better hull traverse effective and better top speed effective in terms of swaps, and better horsepower per turn ratio. Better reverse speed. This thing is faster to traverse the hull, but it has a little bit more health. Well, we're getting sidetracked. Yeah, the gun is not as great as the Fox, so yeah, yesteryear's gun, this thing needs a buff. Otherwise, it's just like the Pan KR. Might as well put into the bond shop as a whatever for 8,000 bonds. Well, the armor wise, health is average, 80 at the front for the hull, 260 for behind the gun, not all the way around, so don't even think about hull down. It's the same with the 63. You'll throw a few shots if they're auto aimed onto your gun, but yeah, you won't bounce a few, so that's out of the question. Yeah, it's behind the gun. Yeah, it's right here, 260. You'll throw a few shots if they're auto aimed, or if they just hit center mass, I guess, but side of the turret is only 95. Upper plate, it's about 70. I thought it was 80. It's only 80 at the beak. It's not exactly all 80, so you're not bouncing shots. Lower plate, 60. Yeah, no armor. 60 at the sides. Okay, there's no side skirts or whatever, so don't even think about it. Kind of flat, so artillery shell does hit 20mm on the engine deck and 30 on the turret roof, so kind of sucks. 30 on the hull upper plate roof at the front next to the driver hatch of 20. Armor wise, it's also not good. Well, medium tank suspension repair time is faster than heavy tank, but that's nothing to write home about. Alright, moving on. Already talked a little bit about the mobility. Surprisingly, it is the only Polish medium tank other than the tier 10 to have the turbocharger after all this time, or turbo mode. But yeah, kind of weird how the 59, the CS-59 and the actual 53 doesn't have it for the Polish medium tanks. Usually you get the gimmick, you get the mechanic, special mechanic at tier 8, like with the double barrel guns, the siege mode, the EBRs and other crap, so you usually get it at tier 8. This one doesn't have it for some reason. The Polish medium tanks doesn't have it until this premium tank. So is it worth the turbo mode? Well, shifting from 1776 horsepower per turn ratio to 28.77, so like a light tank or slow light tank. Light tanks usually have about 30, but it's still pretty good. It weighs about 40-ish tons. I wouldn't recommend ramming because of the hull armor at the front, so unless you're suicidal. But top speed of 50 to 70, reverse of 17 to 25. Hull traverse is the same, about 46 degrees per second. Switching time to engine modes is 2.5. Now, if I remember correctly, there are 2 different times for the CS-63. Or I look stupid. Yeah, I look stupid. I thought it was 2 seconds into the turbo mode and 1 second back, but I guess I was wrong. Okay. I haven't played the CS-63 in a long time. I prefer the Leopard 1, so that's just personal preference. But moving on, we already saw the terrain resistance, so yeah, moving on, it's about the same. Why is hard terrain resistance so bad? Or soft terrain, like the worst for swamp? It's like a heavy tank, holy crap. Hard is like below average too. Same goes with medium. Yeah, this is like heavy tank terrain resistance. Well, that's not working in its favor since it has a little bit below average horsepower per ton ratio. Usually the average is about 18 or 19-ish, or 15 for a heavily armored medium tank. Nah, it will get bogged down. Yeah, it will get bogged down like a heavy. Okay. Okay, moving on to concealment. Not half bad for stationary. And turbo mode doesn't have as good of a camo. I think because of the sound of the engine. Alright, fine. But yeah, the camo is actually not half bad. I think it might be better than the Bat.Chat. Probably. Tier 10. Bat.Chat. Yeah, it's better than the Bat.Chat. So it is more stealthier, I guess. Of a sniper? It's not a sniper. It's a versatile. So, I mean, with 380 meters of view range, you're not spotting or you're not scouting for your team as effectively as something else like a light tank. I mean, the same view range on the Fox compared to this thing, but it has more engine health, so you cannot get engine damaged. Well, I don't think that matters much, but fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, spotting the same, radio the same as the Fox, so nothing to see there. So the only thing good about this thing is the camouflage rating and the access to the turbo mode. That is practically it. It doesn't have the armor unless you hit the mantlet. It doesn't have the DPM or the penetration unless you spam gold shell like a scum. So I hate vehicle design like this. I hate spamming gold shell, whereas your only viable is to spam gold shell. Otherwise, you're stuck doing nothing, or unless you're following somebody else along, like a heavy tank or supporting a heavy. But oh god. All right, moving on to equipment. I think the standard equipment configuration is about the same. Since you want to go fast, turbocharger. You also have the turbo mode, so might as well put a turbocharger. It's just spot for your team. Hell, you have the camo, might as well spot for your team, right? Just okay. And of course rammer to just do some damage if you can. Even with a rammer, it's only 4 down. It's only like 40 more. Not 40. 240 more, or just 200 more than the baseline DPM. Ugh. 2050. Ugh, god. That's not great. Alright, segue into field modifications. Medium tanks, unless you're getting hit all the time, which you shouldn't. I select the second one for better traverse for the hull and the gun, but even though it's already pretty quick already, so it depends. I mean, if you get constantly hit, I mean, you get really hampered with a more penalty to your damage ammo rack or engine. So this one is, since you already have a fast traverse, you might as well put this, right? It depends, but I figure if you already have the repair kit, or if you already get shot, you probably will die pretty quick. So don't get spotted, don't get hit. Might as well choose the second one for better traverse. Might as well. Okay. Second one is better accuracy or better dispersion. Always choose dispersion. It's a Grill 15 effect. So yeah, the Grill 15 has good accuracy, but garbage dispersion. So even though you're trying to aim at something, snapshotting is terrible on that vehicle. So you have to aim your gun, and hopefully your opponents move into your gun sights rather than your gun sights move onto your enemies. So always choose better dispersion. Snapshot is kind of important. Reverse speed or camo. Oof. Baseline reverse speed with a turbocharger is 20, which is not bad, but if you put it on, it's 22. That comes at the cost of camo at about 3%, which is kind of dramatic. Whereas if you put the optics thing, I I would think optics. It already has pretty good camo, so just go with better camo. Just don't get spotted, right? If you do get spotted, drive forwards, don't drive backwards. So, oof. Alright, you'll probably put, yeah, scouting. So, might as well turn into a passive scout. Might as well. So, yeah, there you go, folks. Deep dive into the CS-52 C version. It's not great. It's not that great of a tank. I'll be disappointed if this thing is in holiday ops, so kind of want a refund, but it's not as bad, in my opinion, as something like the Caliban. It still doesn't feel good to get one, right? I mean, you could get duplicates, but usually medium tanks are about 8,000 gold, so yeah, not really that great. It cost about 6,700 gold for the actual Fox, so if Advent Calendar featured the Fox, highly worthwhile. So even if you get this vehicle from holiday ops in the large boxes, you probably wouldn't get that much gold as a compensation for getting duplicates. That's what I'm trying to say. So, oof. Well, originally I rated the vehicle from the super test at 4 out of 10. Yeah, no, okay, I mean, now with the terrain resistance, now with the dispersion factors, and the shell cost surprisingly being super high for some reason for less alpha, it's still not great. It's like a 4 still. I mean, you could put it at 3.75. I don't think the turbocharger will do that much. You could passive scout if that's a thing, but I would rather just play with a light tank, right, than a medium tank that doesn't do that much. So it's practically a light tank. Yeah, I'm teeter-tottering on 3.75 or 4 out of 10. It's not great, so disappointing. Unless you're shooting all gold shell like a scum, sure, fine. I mean, 290mm of pin, that's pretty great, but that defeats the purpose of playing a premium tank. So, yeah, not worthwhile. You could go through Viperas. Of course you could. Not worthwhile. So, I don't think the gold shell will carry this vehicle to something like a 5 out of 10. It's still like 4. So, there you go, folks. Disappointing. I'll try to finish up covering all the tier 9 premiums. If hopefully we're practically done with the common test. Hopefully. So, 3 more premium tier 9s to deal with. But for now, deep dive into this blast from the past, Powercrept already, premium tier 8 Polish medium. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.